So I've had a certain thought over the past, let's say, 6 years, but I don't think I've actually ever verbalized it before. I don't think I've ever written about it. I've definitely not made a video about it. And so I wanted to make a video about it, which is, for the sake of the video or whatever, genuinely, and I say this genuinely, I think I am the luckiest person in the world. Now, obviously, for like all the terms, all the disclaimers and all that stuff, there's no such thing as luck. It's all blessings from Allah. So from that perspective, I've been given, or I've been blessed with the best head start, I think, at least in the world. Now, the purpose of this is not to boast. I don't think it makes sense to boast about something that I haven't done anything. I haven't, been involved with, stuff like. I'll talk about the stuff I'm lucky when it comes to, but it's not really boasting. It's not like achievements. But obviously, there's two ayats in particular that always hit home. Three that always hit home when I come across them. The first one is وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَظَلُومٌ كَفَّارٌ. Second one, very similar. وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And the third, Surah Al-Qasas. This one's crazy, man. Every time I read it, I'm like, subhanAllah. It's the story of Qarun when he's swallowed by the earth, and before he's swallowed by the earth, people see him and with all his fortune and all the blessings that Allah has given him, and they say, "Wow, like we wish we had what Qarun has." But then the people that are knowledgeable amongst them say, وَإِلَكُمْ ثَوَابُ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لِمَنْ آمَنَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. Woe to you, whatever Allah has given you is better. Let me just cover this light. Is better, for those who believe and do good deeds. And then he gets swallowed by the earth. So those same people that yesterday they wanted what Qarun had, today they're saying, لولا أن من الله علينا لخسف بنا. If it hadn't been to Allah giving us His blessings through guidance and all that, that's kind of my interpretation, He would have destroyed us. So those are the three ayat that kind of shape the reason why I'm even thinking about this and the reason why I'm talking about this. So what do I mean by I'm the luckiest / most blessed person? I'm not talking about blessing as in I'm literally blessed, as in like whatever I do is blessed. I'm talking about I've been blessed with the best head start. Let's talk about genetics to begin with. Actually, no, let's talk about just like the circumstances I've been born into. First of all, alhamdulillah, I'm born as an Arab, which means I speak the language of the Quran, although it's a different dialect, but still gave me a really good start. When I opened up the Mus'haf before I knew any Fusha, I could understand like 60% of it. That already is rare enough. I mean, Arabs are, a small percentage of the population. Not only that, I'm also Muslim, Sunni Muslim. Talking about around 1.5 billion people, I think. So that's already talking about, less than a quarter of the population. And then, I'm born in one of the safest countries in the world. One of the safest, most convenient cities in the world with economic prosperity. I never had to worry about walking alone at nights. Never had to worry about getting stabbed. Never had to worry about. I wasn't even worried about getting anything stolen. I've had some stuff stolen, obviously, but it's like small stuff. Like I had a bike stolen, right, and that was like once in like a really long time. I'm talking about Dubai, by the way. I was raised in Dubai. I was born into a loving household. Both my parents are still together. Yani, I haven't seen. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but I didn't see crazy fights. I never saw violence, alhamdulillah, as a kid. Except when I really messed up and I got beat, but that was like very, very little. I'm talking about violence in terms of between my parents. They're still together. They still love each other, at least from what I think, from what I see. And that alone is extremely rare. Even when I kind of compare to like my friends in high school and whatever, the ones whose parents are not divorced, it feels like, based on what they tell me, that their parents are together just for the sake of the kids or for the sake of its convenience. They don't believe that the grass is greener on the other side, therefore they don't want to get a divorce. As opposed to my parents who, again, seems like it, alhamdulillah, they genuinely want to be together. So those are kind of the circumstances I've been born into, and obviously there's other things to to talk about, but these are just some of the things that I just at the top of my mind. And then we go into stuff like genetics. Alhamdulillah, I'm 6'2", and like I don't want to be superficial or anything, but like height is a good thing. As a guy, like I think I'm in the sweet spot. I think 6'2" is tall enough to say, oh, that's a tall guy. But any taller than that, and you're kind of getting into uncomfortable, sitting on a plane territory and all that stuff. So I'm really happy with my height, alhamdulillah. Um, I don't know, maybe I'm being narcissistic or anything, but I do believe that pretty good looking guy, that helps, being superficial aside, and also even putting stuff like girls to the side and all that stuff. They've done studies about like the halo effect or whatever, where like better looking people just tend to get treated better. So yeah, that's something to at least remark on. And like other stuff, like I'm healthy, alhamdulillah. Like I literally, there's nothing wrong with me, at least as far as I know. I'm not born with any like conditions. I'm born with like healthy hearts. There's like no mental conditions, nothing. Again, I don't want to boast or anything, but I did do an IQ test last year. I got like, I think 120, which is like, okay, I'm not a genius, but 100 is the average, which means I'm like 20 points above average. And like from what I know, like the way the curve works is that like every additional point is like even harder. So like I don't know what percentile I'm in. Actually, let me just search it up. What percentile is 120 IQ? So I'm in the 91st percentile, which means I'm in the top 9% smartest people in the world, right? Am I genius level? No, but like I'm still blessed. So that that's something. And then it's just like simple stuff like the high school that I went to, right? I went to a high school in a Muslim country, which like on paper should mean, everyone's Muslim, everyone prays, everyone like doesn't do haram or whatever. But my school was, I'll probably say 50-50, 50% Muslim, 50% not. I'll talk about my year group specifically. But even that 50% that was Muslim, it felt like they just weren't practicing. Like if it genuinely felt like there are more Muslim people in my year group that had drank alcohol than that pray 5 times a day, which is crazy to think about. And the reason I say that is because I've had a lot of friends who, growing up, you're innocent up until like 8th grade. So we were friends based on, like mutual interests. Like we're all the same, right? We all come from Muslim households. We all go pray together, dhuhr, for example, at school. And then like as the years goes on, you see like friend by friend kind of, gets a bit misguided. Now the reason I say that is because sometimes I compare my family to like other families, and like there wasn't anything special per se about my family compared to other families of kids who, ended up drinking alcohol, for example. So like literally just goes back to the fact that, bro, if it wasn't for Allah guiding us, it would have destroyed us. And obviously the journey's not over. I'm still 21, still a long time for me to completely go astray, and like inshallah it doesn't happen, and I make dua it doesn't happen. But I'm just like comparing high school, for example. So that's another thing where I was completely blessed. Like genuinely think that like given all the circumstances and like all the different ways I could have been misguided, all the friends that I had that went down a certain path and I didn't, it's like sometimes I think about it, I'm like, there's literally no explanation other than the fact that just Allah's blessing. So that's another thing as well. And then there's other stuff like the fact that like when I was 15, for some reason, for no reason whatsoever, I decided to start memorizing the Quran. Obviously there was a reason, like it was COVID, I had time, but so did everyone else, right? Why did no one, why is like, I'm 21, right? So like all the 15-year-olds, when they had COVID, same age as me, had the same time as me. So why is it that I decided to pick up the Mus'haf and start memorizing, despite not having like anyone in my family or anyone in my friend group memorizing? Again, it just goes back to, it's literally Allah's blessing. So that's another thing as well that I'm really just blessed to have. And then like starting my YouTube channel, for example, something that I was blessed with. It allowed me to gain a lot of skills that I then used to get other jobs. It also just allowed me to make like a bunch of money that like none of my other friends are making. Like just comparing myself to like the people in my year group, for example, or even the people in my university with me. The people in my university with me, because the majority of them are on loans, their net worth is literally in the negatives, right? So they're in debt. Even if they have money in the bank, for example, they're in debt. Alhamdulillah, I'm not in debt, and that kind of goes back to the fact that I've been blessed with a really good financial situation where my parents are able to pay for my university. And on top of that, I'm also able to be independent in terms of like my living costs, rent, food, going out, all that stuff I could cover, because Allah blessed me with like the tawfiq of like starting the channel and then turning that into like a little business. So those are just some of the just the best. I don't even know if this video is going to be public, because like at what point do I like not want to talk about like the stuff I'm best with? So I guess like if you're watching this, just like please just say Allahuma barek. And like obviously everyone, like bro, the ayah is not only for specific people. The 3 ayat that I talked about are for everyone. Like even if you don't have like the stuff that I've been blessed with, you've been blessed in other ways as well. You just like need to sit down, pen and paper, and start writing it. Bro, I actually did write it once. Let me find it. And like let me just read some of the stuff, because I don't remember everything, right? Yeah, I found it. As I grew up, I was one of the only people in my friend group saved from the fitan of girls, alcohol, music, and smoking. At any given point, I could have folded, and yet Allah saved me. Over COVID, He gave me the tawfiq to delve deeper into the deen and gain a good understanding of it. He inspired me and gave me the tawfiq to memorize His words. I knew nothing, and He taught me whatever I know now. I could have easily not memorized the Quran. I could have easily fallen into the fitan through high school. I could have never started the YouTube channel, yet He always provided. Again, I'm the only one amongst my friends not in debt, funding my own lifestyle. I'm talking about Allah. He has truly never let me down. So yeah, I don't know if I'll post this. Maybe I'll keep it unlisted. But just like some of the ways that I genuinely think, like, bro, if I now obviously like there's like downsides to everything, right? Like the fact that I've been living such a comfortable life in my childhood means that I might not be as, I don't know if this is true or not, but like you kind of see the roadmen turn freaking like Islamic speakers or turn like entrepreneurs or whatever. They tend to have like that intensity that I just don't think I have. Like obviously that intensity could be outwards. Maybe I do have it internally, but like I don't show it. But there's kind of like there's downsides and upsides to everything. But in terms of just like on paper, I can't think of anyone that's in a better situation than me. I genuinely say that. Like I genuinely say that. Everything considered, like genetics, circumstances, where I grew up, where I'm from. Like, bro, I'm not from Gaza, for example, right? Obviously, it's not a bad thing to be from Gaza, but my life would have been completely different. Even if I'm not, like, location-wise in Gaza and I was still in Dubai, whatever, I still have a lot of family back home that for the past 3 years I would have been stressed for, because I probably would have lost a significant number of them. Other stuff like, just a mixture of everything. Like, yeah, I'm sure if I kind of go into the calculator and I see, okay, like what percentile does this make me, what percentile does that make me, I come up with like a probability of all this stuff. Like, might make me tear up, and I can never cry. So, yeah, that's kind of some of the ways I've been blessed in my life. I did mention one thing, which is, although for the most part, I'm obviously happy with everything. Sometimes Allah has to kind of tip the scales the other way. I've been losing hair, so I am balding a bit here. Now I'm doing stuff about it, so inshallah I don't go fully bald. But like, you can't have everything, right? I would like to have a full head of hair until I'm 50, but if it doesn't happen, it's not gonna be the end of the world. It's like, what am I really worried about? People's perception? Come on, I'll be fine. Getting married, it's like, obviously I'll be fine as well. Like, all people are part of society. They're not like crazy, right? Like, they get married, they have children, they start businesses, and they're doing just fine. It's just, it feels like you're losing part of yourself. But that's kind of like how the scales are tipped, the other way. But yeah, other than that, that was the video. See you soon.